Hello everyone, my name is Tori Smith and I want to give you a very special thank you from the bottom of my heart, and for all of you who've been praying and doing affirmations and telling God that you want this child trafficking operation closed down. It really made a huge difference. And the last, when because I've always been really hesitant to ask anyone to help or anyone to get involved. And, I didn't speak to a lot of people about this because so many people have been killed, especially when the vibrations were lower. For me, this started in January of 2012, and I'm in the 50th month of this. But as things have progressed, it turns out there's much more than child trafficking going on. And, I've witnessed so many groups, dark entity, either physical beings and non-physical beings, be removed. And not just from the solar system, but here from our planet as well. And so I knew that, eventually, good things were going to happen. And they really have. And how, and then when, I had asked the angels and Mother and Father God about what I could do, and that's when I got the message from heaven: ask people to do the specific prayer and to say thank you for the Galactics for arresting these people. And what happened because of that was 6,116 people were arrested. And, well, more than that, because there's so many different things going on, and my spirit guides say, you're anxious about the end of this, but there's so many things you don't see, which is true. I mean, we have our simple, limited conscious while we're here in this reality, whether we're human or reptilian or whatever, in the much higher dimensions, well, God can see everything. The angels can see. Ascended masters and everybody, they see pretty much everything, and we don't. We're pretty much blinded from everything. But one of the things that really disturbed me when this group came in, because other groups have come in and they've been arrested and then removed. And then recently I posted about the 819 that had been arrested, but they were Earthian, surface dwellers, or in the shell. A lot of them lived in the shell. They have these underground facilities. Like the one in Crawfordsville, Texas, I think it's 38 stories deep, 38 levels deep, but they have so much going on down there in Texas. They have 3 MILABS. And but of these 6,116 reptilians, I kept hearing them say things like, "We are here to feed off the humans," and and they wanted to know why we weren't all rounded up in the concentration camps, which a lot of this information, and I kind of kicked myself in the butt. I said, why didn't I see this before? As a DNA reader, I should have been able to see that all the Nazi soldiers and all the Nazi war criminals were here just in other bodies. But it's not like I go around reading, checking out people's DNA, and then when I do look at somebody, like the Bushes or the Obamas or the Clintons or any of these other filthy lying murderers, or somebody like, let's say, presidential candidate Marco Rubio. When I look at him, it'll come up as 156 strands activated, 0% sacred light, and the first thing that comes up is he's raped 97 children and murdered 37 of them. And you know what I mean? And that's what I see. So it's not like I go around inquiring, oh, is he a Nazi war criminal? And the answer was yes. Because they just recycle over and over again. The archons used to take care of that. But back to good news. And also these reptilians that just came in this round brought these other artificial intelligence beings called super temporals. Now the regular temporals are artificial intelligence units that are literally like people. And it's like a big video game. They would have this thing, they would wear this equipment. They would move their soul into this temporal unit and then come into our homes. And they also had astral and etheric weapons. And the list is very long. And that's how they would come in and they would rape us. And and I just saw a comedian the other night talking about this woman who went public and said she was having sex with a ghost. Well, honey, that wasn't a ghost that she was having sex with. That poor woman. That was a temporal. And because the temporals can come in and they can activate our hormones, and they could do a lot to us. They could pin us down. They could pick us up and throw us, a few feet. I've been picked up and thrown into bed a lot. They can do a lot of things. But the super temporals, they didn't move their souls into them. They were strictly for weapons. Like they have 45 flu viruses that they produce at DARPA. They have a gun that they come in and they project that right into your head, so your nose goes from really dry and then it just starts pouring. And another one, electromagnetic weapon that causes a severe amount of pain. This other weapon they use on my pelvic girder, which is 17 biological and chemical weapons. And it's basically a group of 17 really nasty chemicals, including weapons-grade anthrax, that they broadcast into my body, and I just have burns all over. And then the other thing is they have these things with needles, and you can find this on MILABS research. A lot of people have said they were just sitting around the house or whatever, and all of a sudden they feel a needle go into them. And that's what they use. They use a needle on me every few hours. Usually averages about 2 days. To inject this chemical into my penis, because Barack Obama didn't want me to ever have a boyfriend since I said no to him, who, by the way, just murdered a 9-year-old girl in Chicago. And but the facilities, I don't remember if I said this, the facilities to produce these regular temporals have been destroyed. And I don't believe they're going to be able to come back. And the dark side has lost all the means in their plans to kill humans and take this country for themselves. The vibrations are just way too high for that. And that's why they called in this latest group of 6,000 plus reptilians, was to help them facilitate the means, because Satan and Lucifer, all the Dracos are gone. There were 300,000 plus headed draconians gone, arrested. They just keep losing and losing and losing. Well, the Anunnaki is the group that gave them, most of the technology, them and the Insectians, which totally blew my mind. I thought, how the insects were the smartest ones of all, and they knew more about our DNA than any of us, probably all of us combined on this planet. And another good thing that's happened is all nuclear weapons now have been confiscated. I remember one weekend when Dick Cheney hired Mossad to plant 31 nuclear bombs all over this country. What a stressful weekend that was. And then the Galactics took them all. And basically the ones doing the arresting were people of Procyon. So you can look that up. You can research Procyon humans, Procyon. And there's also the Andromeda humans. Now they're from they're from the solar system Andromeda here in our galaxy, but have origins in the galaxy of Andromeda. The galaxy of Andromeda, humans are about 12 million years old, and humans have been in this galaxy for about 6 million years old, roughly. Not me, though. I've only been here for 4.9 million years. And another good news that I found out, because of something that happened with this guy called the General, and he was really hideous. He was about 8 feet tall, and they would come in, they come in slightly in another dimension. One of the things I love to do, because I'm an energy worker, and energy comes out of my hands. It comes down from God through my head, heart, and hands. Well, since they come in, they basically are like a ghost when they come in, even though they have physical bodies. The physical body's not with you. It's in another place. And one of the things I love to do, they're about 8 feet tall, and I would love to just take my hands and place it right next to their heart. Just stick my hands right in their chest, and then it would go zap, and then all this energy, God would flow this energy around, would practically give him a heart attack. Actually, Mother God did that one time, and John Brennan had several heart attacks that way. He was such a piece of filth. He was a serial assassin. He was the director of the CIA American division, but he's been arrested. He went out with the 819. And my spirit guides, the general went down to Texas, and he was really upset. He goes, I didn't come here to speak to a clone. And the staff around George Bush Sr. didn't even know he was a clone, which I thought was funny. I mean, I haven't always recognized clones, but you'd think that, if you were working with a man for years, that you'd recognize between him and a clone. But George Bush Sr.'s trial is now over. His trial is over, but heaven won't tell me what's going to happen to him. And Father Om, Father God, has lifted the vibrations again, and this wave will make it impossible for them to continue to produce these weapons, the astral and etheric weapons. And again, that's because of your prayers, because so many people have been praying for the end of child trafficking. And now we can move on to another thing, is to arrest those involved, because there's now a nationwide effort. And I was really surprised that so many police and military people turned out to be benevolent. And I think it's a wonderful surprise. And I guess because I'm bitter and jaded, because I've seen so many police officers and military rape and murder children and commit the most horrific war crimes, I've pretty much given up hope on any law enforcement officer on this planet being a benevolent person. Well, except for one, and that's Janet Reno, who I absolutely love dearly. She's one of my greatest heroes. And you know why? Because she's a champion of children's rights. And everything else she does is just gravy. But the police are now having a lot of these men under surveillance, and they've been collecting evidence for a while. And I was told just now that police have found 38 of the 39 MILABS, like they can prove it. Instead of just me, who I'm a witness, you know, and people like Indiana Governor Mike Pence, I witnessed him murder a child in January of 2013. And that's one of my first experiences with child trafficking, you know, because even though I was being taken to MILABS, I didn't know about the child trafficking until later, because they were putting snakes in my body and doing all kinds of things, testing 77 mutations of HIV on me, just doing all kinds of really nasty things to me. So, you know, and then also, he's now the president of Purdue University, Mitch Daniels, who is also a former governor of Indiana. He was also there. And while I was being raped, the 54 men murdered 54 children all right around. Some of them were just 5-6 feet away from me on all these tables. And Mitch Daniels was there, and he raped and murdered a little girl. And like I said, what's his name? Mike Pence raped and murdered a little innocent boy. And I was just told that Janet Reno is the one who's overseeing this large operation to bring down the child trafficking company operation, which is a privately owned company owned by the Bush family. Although 19 of them have been arrested. And thank God George Bush's trial is over. I can't wait to see the videos. That's another thing I wanted to tell you, because after most of these men, or all these men, are arrested, and women too, they are going to release videos. And when I say they, I mean beings of light. The beings of light. I don't know how exactly if it's going to work, but I know heaven has all the videos of everything that everybody's ever done, and then also the Galactics, because a lot of times they were recording what the Reptilians were doing to me, and all of those are going to be released. And you know, and I don't know when, someday, sometime, but you'll be able to literally see, you know, what people like me and me have been through, you know, for all these years, and what we've gone through with the MILABS and the military. Most of the experiences are military. But through the years, I've been introduced, you know, not by choice, to a lot of others. There's the Reptilians, the Insectians, the Amphibians, the Dinosaurians, the humans, and then there's also very different types of Insectians too, like the mantid people. They kind of look like praying mantises. And it's just, literally, if you can imagine a type of person, they exist, because you're probably pulling that from your memory. There are, you know, millions of species of people in this universe, and most of them are benevolent. It's just, unfortunately for us, most of the bad ones were here. But again, I want to thank you so much, and I ask God to fill and surround you with a silver violet flame to transmute all negativity, and you can say, I invoke the silver violet flame to transmute all energies of my thoughts, words, actions, and feelings into the light. You can do that for your home as well. Fill the violet flame into your home. I like to add silver because it makes it more conductive. It makes it a little more powerful. But you can add any any metal you want, like gold or platinum or titanium or whatever. You know, and when you're working with the lights, the tools that God gives us, do it your own way. You know, I mean, if you walk into a horrible place, say, I invoke a sacred fire to set this place ablaze, and you'll be amazed what happens. It just cleanses out. It changes so much. That's what we use to transfigure, these ones that have, the 6,116 that have all been arrested. Thank you so much. And, it was the first time I've really asked for help, and you came through, and it was a huge success. And I can't wait till you see the evidence. Wait till you see what they look like. Oh my God, they're so hideous. And they stink. Oh my God, they stink so bad. Anyway, I love you so much. God bless your hearts.